Yeah, originally I approached Frida about doing a documentary, a film. Again, like music moves me, culture moves me, originality moves me.
Mm-hmm.
And I read an article, I think it was in Bus Magazine or New York Times, and it was a picture of Big Frida and Katie Red and just the bounce scene in New Orleans during that time. It was early 2000, or maybe 2010, 2011. And when something hits me, I just go with it. Like, I was just like, I need to find out about this. Like, what is this bounce music? This is like, it just got in me. And I don't know, I think from my backstage pass, I knew how to like track down an artist and figure out where they were going to be performing and like go there. And Frida was actually going to be performing at the New Parish. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go check it out. Went to the New Parish, which was formerly Sweet Jimmy's. So I already knew, where it was, what it was about. And I watched the show, and it was like church. It was just in my spirit. He was just like a MC. The crowd was responding. It was just one of the most electrifying, moving, just got in me performances I'd ever seen in my life. And so I went up to him after and I said, I really would love to do a documentary on you, bounce music. And at first he was like, yeah, okay, we'll come out to New Orleans, see what we could do. And I actually flew out there 2 weeks later. He's like, I cannot believe you were here. I was like,
wow,
it's Renee. He was like, girl, what you doing here? He was like, Miss Renee, I cannot believe you came here with a, New Orleans accent and all. Baby, she really came. So I came out. We hung out. He showed me around the city. We went and ate, hung out. Went to during that time, it was a few different clubs and hung out and met his mom. Like, he just really took me in, and we really vibed. And I started filming, just coming back, bringing my camera, bringing my crew. And during the time that I was filming, the documentary started blowing up. And I started, and because my husband has worked in the music industry, Thomas McElroy, for a long time. Him
very
and his
famous
partner, very famous, Denzel Foster, has worked with many artists and many soundtracks and movies. I would learn different things about the music industry, music publishing, licensing, all the business side. And so I would just tell Frida little things, like, I want to get an attorney to check this out, or do you have a publicist, and just kind of get in his ear. And then also his branding. I noticed a lot of times during that time with gay artists and mainstream media really wanted to exploit the fact that he was black and gay, that was the talent, just, and I just felt like, okay, that's part of who he is, but he's really an MC and he's really an entertainer. The gay part is cool, but that's not all it is. He's super talented, kind of like Sylvester, he's still gay, but that gay is not just a talent,
right.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like secondary to
the music transcends all.
If you're talented, it doesn't matter. And then the fact that you're gay and flamboyant, that's just like the icing on the cake. It just brings it home for everyone. And so what I was seeing was that they were exploiting the gay part. It was just, I was like, okay, are they laughing at him or with him? And this is just me as a black woman looking at Hollywood, looking at this black man, or now that the she pronoun is coming in, but still my relationship with Frida has always been knowing him as he. He's okay with he or she. But I felt like they were robbing him of the dignity, of the coolness, of the just, making it too campy, too like stickish, like it was just getting watered down. It was just like booty, oh yeah, shake it, and it was more than that because I had witnessed the journey. And so I would just kind of be like, on the branding side of things, what, that butt plug and that other little thing that they're trying to do. Like one time there was some promoter who wanted to have like a no homo tour. And I was like, all right, that's cool. And I was like, they sent the artwork, and the artwork had a picture of Freedia with Elizabethan wig and some kind of outfit, and it was like he had a butt plug in one hand and like a dildo in the other. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? And I was like, and I went to Freedia and I was like, this is not how you want to, this ain't how we're breaking this down. Like, is not what you're about. Like, you got more dignity. You are powerful. You are beautiful. You are an artist. Like, level up. This is not it. And so it was a series of those type of things that were happening that was just making me look like what are they, how is Hollywood, in terms of black gay men, why is it always this? And so I just, kind of got in his ear about that, and I think Rusty Laser at the time, who was his DJ, and Melvin Foley, who was also his manager, were kind of having some differences of opinion about the direction. I think I just kind of came in with something new and fresh, built a team. And he said, one night he called me, something happened, and it was a defining moment, because I actually made a decision, and sometimes I regret it, between my film and managing his career at the time when it was really about to take off. And Freedia would have been famous no matter what, but it would have looked really different, I feel like, had I not been there in the beginning. And I felt an obligation. I felt a sense of responsibility because of the conversations that I had with his mother, that the film could wait, and that what was happening with the career. And also, not gonna lie, it was intoxicating, the just the amount of excitement that was happening, like the culture that was bubbling around it, and me being a part of it at that time. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe I could still film everything and still also manage, but I'll, try and see if I can do both. And so he called me one night, because I think it was a big tour coming up in Australia, and I guess management had dropped the ball, and he was like, why don't you manage me? And I was like, no way, I can't. I don't know nothing about managing. Like, I can't do it. Like, he was like, I really think you could do it. Like, do it. Like, let's do it. I really want you to manage me. And I was like, talk with my husband about it. And he was like, I mean, you're already doing it. You're handling this, you're handling that. You might as well get paid for it. I was like, okay. So I put on the management hat, booked Jimmy Kimmel, got a book deal, got an eyewear line deal, got a booking agent, was booking tours, all across the country, shows, national, everything was on the table. And so, then there was a production company who was like, yeah, we want to put out they wanted to do a 3D documentary on Big Freedia, but it was still like big asses in 3D. And I was just like, why? No, New Orleans is so much more than twerking. I wanted people to understand the urgency of the music and the dance, and how spiritual it was, and how, these women out here shaking it is not for dollars like strippers that you see in Vegas or in Miami. They shaking for trauma. Like, we releasing energy. Like, these women are dancing. These people are dancing to shake off all the trauma that has been with them in New Orleans, all the murders, just the history and everything. And so I realized it was like a healing process. And so, people would come with different interpretations of what they thought the bounce music was or the dance was. And so finally, Freedia was like, I really want to do like a reality show. Boss came, he's like, I think this could be a reality show. I personally didn't want to do a reality show because I felt like it was premature. I felt like it wouldn't give us leverage. I felt like it was a little early. And I felt like if we just hold it out a little bit longer, we could have more leverage. And also for personal selfish reasons, I wanted to finish my film. I felt like the reality show would exploit. It would focus on all of the things that were wrong with what was going on. And I had a lot of anxiety about it, but it was a conflict of interest for me at that time because I was managing him now. Now I'm not a filmmaker, I'm a manager. But if I was a filmmaker, then I'd be like, nah, we doing the film. So took the meeting with World of Wonder. Yeah, we're going to be partners in this. We want to hear about bounce music and Big Freedia. And I was like, yeah, as long as it's not us against each other and us against the world and we're trying to build this team. They were like, yes, we're going to do that. And next thing I know, we're in negotiations with them. And I think it was instrumental. It was great for his career on some levels. And so we started filming, and season 1, season 2 was a hot mess. And I was just like, this ain't what I felt like. They came in, they tried to make me look like I didn't know what I was doing. And that the team was just a mess. But it was like, oh, really? All your motherfuckers is here now, right? Something is working. We got all this shit on the table. And now, they tried to make it look like I hired a DJ and didn't, and was like, how they took my soundbite was, so basically what happened was we had some DJs who were supposed to come with us to Brazil, which was the first or second season, and the DJs didn't have their passports. So they didn't get to come. So we had to hire a DJ in Brazil. And I said, well, it shouldn't be too hard. All he has to do is press a button, meaning we already had the music queued up. We went to sound check and everything. But how they cut it was like, all they had to do is press a button. We don't need a DJ. They totally left out the part that the DJs didn't have their passports. So they painted this picture like I basically made this call that we didn't need a DJ for Freedia in Brazil. And so for me, it was like, okay, you got to pay to play. Here we go, right? I'm taking one for the team. And it just really was upsetting for me. And then, went to Freedia's mom and told her some things, and it was just like everybody was turning against each other. But it was great for the career because it gave him exposure, but behind the scenes, it was breaking down all the relationships. People in the team started believing the narrative of the reality show versus like what was really going on. So I'm doing damage control behind the scenes instead of managing the career. I'm taking shots here and there from people thinking I'm making stupid decisions because of one soundbite on the reality show. And it was just, it went on for 7 seasons though. And so it was that was just like a really hard time. It was a really hard time. So like I said, it was great for the career, but as far as the relationship, and I do honestly feel like, some hating going on with the team too, because as a woman, I had a family, I had children at home, but my husband at his point in the career, he was okay being home with my children.
So were you in New Orleans doing?
I was going back and forth to New Orleans like I was going back and forth across the Bay Bridge. I was in New Orleans every other week.
Wow.
Yeah, just going back. I had racked up so many miles. I was just there, because we were filming, and also I was, managing his Freedia's career. And so, but as a woman who's handling business in Hollywood, especially as a black woman handling business for this gay artist who's up and coming, making money, they were coming for me. How dare this black woman have control over all this? White publicists, white managers, just everybody white, questioning, what do you know about, like when I would go settle for him, they would just be coming at me, asking me questions about this and this and that, and what do you know about this? And I just, aren't you supposed to be home with your children? And, I was getting a lot of that, but the shit was still working. Motherfuckers out here clocking dollars, selling out shows, doing international tours under my management. But somehow it was being reinterpreted in the reality show, like I didn't know what I was doing, and oh my God, you just press the button, like I wasn't handling stuff, and people started believing that even in the team. And so that's when it started fracturing, which
So now, fast forward to the present. What is your relationship with the artists and all the other people?
Oh, with Freedia?
Yeah.
We talk all the time. He came out here during Pride in June when Beyonce did the Break My Soul track, which we recorded on the Just Be Free album back in 2017, and brought me up on stage and basically said, gave me my flowers, we're close. We talk all the time. He talks about us doing the film and putting this footage out. Now, during that whole 7 years, I had my camera the entire time and shot every single moment. And so when you talk about the footage that will come out someday, sometime, it's of a time that will never be again. It was a time where, he was fresh and new and just exciting, and we have all of that footage. And so we'll line it up, but we're close. We got through that. I have a tremendous amount of respect and love for Freedia. We have a great relationship. We text and talk all the time. Whenever I hit him, he hits me right back. Whenever I want to get backstage to a show or anything, he treats me with this. Let her in. This is Renee. She, he always gives me all kind of respect and love. So, and we had a good conversation, about everything that happened and how, he apologized for some things. I apologized for some things. But it was a great learning experience for us.